Welcome everyone back to the Drexel Free Thought Society Weekly Podcast. Sorry again for the delay. We're just terrible at starting on time.
Roger Rabbit.
Roger Rabbit.
Yeah, Roger Rabbit. We were talking about Roger Rabbit. It doesn't matter. This is our chat portion. I don't know why I keep saying that, because when Colleen isn't here, I have absolutely no idea how to make the chat thing work. Anywho, thank you for joining us again. Feel free to email us at drexfreethought@gmail.com. Feel free to join the Spreaker. You can try calling the Skype. If with any luck, I'll actually make it work.
Yeah.
But yeah, let's continue with Dante's dramatic secret information that he was going to reveal.
Brain fart. Can somebody remember? Can somebody tell me what was that?
I don't know what you were talking about.
Who was I talking about? It might have been about the public transportation thing. I think.
I don't think that was it.
Well, I did mention that they got rid of most of the trolleys and stuff. Oh wait, no, I was talking about religion.
Religion.
The scary thing about religion is that anyone could potentially create a religion. If you were to create some sort
Joseph
of
Smith.
I was going to say Ron L. Hubbard, but okay.
I will actually say.
Okay, Scientology is pretty scary.
I think Joseph Smith is a little more crazy.
I don't know.
What did he create again?
Mormonism.
Mormonism. See, you can sit here. Any of us right here can conjure up an idea, conjure up some sort of document or book or whatever, conjure up some sort of deity, and if enough people believe in it, and then you find more people who can believe in it, you just essentially created a religion. It can perpetuate itself
For thousands of years.
What's that?
For thousands and thousands of years.
Yes, it can do that. Think about how do you think most of these religions started? I don't think it was just one person.
No, do you know why Christianity is the way it is?
Why?
What is that?
Constantine.
Oh yes.
Constantine decreed that Christianity would be the official religion of Rome.
In Rome was too big for his bridges. That kind of sounds similar to what we're going through, doesn't it?
In a way, yeah.
Think about how much land America has technically conquered, even without bloodshed. We have such a dramatic influence, and along with the religion attaching itself to the nation.
No, see, the funny thing is we will never admit that we have more land than other countries because we're really obsessed with the idea of 50 states. Like, don't we own Puerto Rico?
Yes, Puerto Rico is considered to be a commonwealth. Which is kind of funny. But these names are kind of arbitrary because technically Pennsylvania is a commonwealth too. But they also consider it a state. I don't know the whole mechanizations behind it. I would have to look at it again. But yeah, we do own, we own like a lot of the islands. There's even some islands that are not close to America itself, the mainland, that we own. I'm trying to think, what was the name of that island? There's an archipelago somewhere in the Pacific Ocean. It's nowhere near us that we actually own as a territory. I can't remember the name of it. But.
So wait, we actually own land beyond the states,
but
we just don't acknowledge it.
Like Canary Islands, isn't the Canary Islands owned by the French, I think?
I'm just going to look it up.
Yeah. Or like Equatorial Guinea was actually a French colony. Equatorial Guinea is in Africa.
Right, yeah.
In fact, the French still have a huge influence over a lot of countries in Africa. Look at South America. They technically, Portugal technically, has a big hand in a lot of those South American countries. At least lineage-wise, maybe not government-wise, but
Brazil, yeah. Portuguese.
Yeah, but America, we kind of take it one step further. We just put McDonald's everywhere.
Conquer the world with food.
Yeah.
You know where I keep bringing this up every once in a while, but do you know where there is actually a McDonald's? There's one in Venice.
Huh?
The only people that own houses in Venice are people that moved there originally.
Wow.
Iraq's got them too.
Iraq has McDonald's.
Iraq has a lot of McDonald's, yes. I am not exaggerating that. I've seen pictures of it. My friends have been there, and I was like, yeah, we go to McDonald's.
What about in Muslim countries?
Yeah, it is a Muslim country.
Oh, right, I mean... wait, brain fart.
There is a KFC across the street from the Sphinx in Egypt. I know, because I've been there.
What?
You can literally take a 5 to 10 minute walk down the street from the Sphinx and bump into a KFC. America. But you also have that religion kind of co-opted itself into it. That's where you get all those... Excuse me for a second.
Quiet down.
That's where you get all those lovely missionaries.
They're out to help people.
Oh, right. You could say that about... Well, missionaries say they're out to help people too, but...
In fact, depending on where you were at, some missionaries they saw it as like a public service, I guess. You know, they were just being nice, like you really should believe in this God because it'll help you. And others, they were forced to believe in that stuff. Africa would be a very, very good example.
The cult of Dusty. I bring him up a bunch this podcast because I watched a lot of his stuff recently.
That's fine.
One of his things is basically like any African American person is basically a traitor to their race if they're a Christian. Because like the only reason that Christianity reached Africa is because they went there for slaves. And like it was literally beaten into them.
Yes.
And he kind of like in a bit of a quip was like, it must have sounded so ridiculous to the African natives. It's like, wait, so you're telling me there's a talking snake, and then this woman was impregnated by God, and then the guy then gave birth to him also? And then it's just like, quiet you! And then starts whipping him, and he's like, all right, whatever, whatever, man.
Oh,
you
yeah.
can have your talking snake, just ease up on the whip.
We can do this because you're a slave. This is what we're supposed to do. But you know who else said that? He said it a bit nicer though. He I forgot how he worded it, but Chris Rock.
Oh.
Chris Rock said something about if you're a black Christian then you suffer from memory loss or something like that.
That is true. Wasn't Christianity used as the justification for slavery?
Yes.
If you are black and a Christian, then you have a very short memory.
Yes, that's exactly what he said. And a lot of people got pissed off when he said that, and he was just like, "Look in the book." What do you think? What do you think most Africans believed in back then? Seriously.
Probably their individual tribal religions.
Yeah,
Because a lot of African tribes had no contact with anyone else.
A lot of them were very, very individualistic. They had their own animal gods, you know. To some of them, the lion was the god. To some of them, the river was the god. To some of them, the ground was the god. There was also a small Christian contingency there, too. But they were, let's put it this way, they were a different sect. So I'm not sure how they practiced their Christianity over there. And you also had Islam there over in Africa, which was also practiced in a certain way. But then you have these guys coming from this continent coming down, practicing Christianity this way. You know, I'm going to take these guys and, you know, throw them on a ship because, you know, the Bible says I can do that. And not to mention, let's not also forget that some of these African kings and queens, which there aren't that many African kings and queens, so whoever keeps pushing this Afrocentric nonsense that we were kings and queens back then is nonsense. You know, they were the ones giving the slave masters the people.
Yeah, I remember that. They sold them into slavery for guns and stuff.
If that's Christianity, I want no part of it. Oh yeah, and try talking to a Native American about Christianity.
Oh jeez.
That conversation's not going to end well. In fact, wasn't there a meme on there that was talking about how you guys came over here and
I love it.
raped them? And yeah, you gotta find that meme.
Oh, that's the one I was thinking of. There's like the traditional white American Christian hillbilly was like looking at a Mexican person and says, "Go back to Mexico." Looks at a black guy, "Go back to Africa." A Native American is staying there with his arms crossed.
And the hillbilly's just standing there like. I love that one.
Technically, from their perspective, we're all illegal immigrants.
Oh, here's a fun one. This is another bit of history that the Knights of Columbus created for us. Christopher Columbus was a horrible, horrible person.
He's diseased.
I heard Genocide, basically.
Worse. Well, I guess not worse than genocide, but up there. He was incredibly big in the child sex slave market.
Really?
Yes. There were a large number of his like, not contingency.
Progeny?
No, the people that was on the ship with him. Whatever, his crew. That dropped out of the Navy and became monks because of the atrocities they saw.
Wow.
And the Spanish government was like, we don't care, he keeps bringing us gold. People brought him back to Spain or France, I forget which country, or Portugal actually. Whatever country sent him there, in chains, saying, we want him arrested on war crimes.
What?
And they were like, nah, let him go, he keeps bringing us gold. And then the Knights of Columbus went up to Eisenhower, I think, and said we should have a national day celebrating Christopher Columbus because he's a Catholic.
Ugh.
Ta-da! That's...
I thought he didn't even discover America.
Oh, he didn't. Scandinavian people were here way before he was.
Yeah, Eric.
Also Native Americans.
True.
And
So-
their ancestors.
No, it's literally... again, the cult of Dusty. He brought this up also. I'm giving you so much publicity to the 6 or 7 people that are watching this instead of your show. Anyway, the idea is like... It's like me going into your house, putting a flag in the center of it and saying, I discovered this. It's mine now.
And you just look at it like...
I've discovered your living room.
It's like, what the hell are you doing in my house? Get out, it's mine. Now let me steal your daughters and sell them into sex slaves.
I mean, technically they did discover my living room because they never knew it existed, and for a while it was hidden to them until they bumped into it. But it doesn't mean they can have it, you know. But
I love it's just like, oh, it's so amazing. He discovered America. It's like, yeah, like we wouldn't have discovered that eventually. Just go west, you'll hit it.
listen, some people that back then didn't have the patience to do it, but you know, guys like Amerigo Vespucci and Ponce de Leon and all those other guys. Yeah, I could name a whole bunch of people who went over from Europe, and I mean, who came from Europe and went to America and stuff. I mean, you know, the Columbus thing is complete nonsense. The guy was diseased. Okay, mentally and physically, the guy was diseased.
He was mentally diseased.
I would say so. If you're going around doing child slavery and human trafficking and raping people and stuff, yeah, you're quite diseased.
Didn't he have syphilis or something?
Everyone had syphilis.
A lot of syphilis was like the main course back then. But you know, they had a whole bunch of stuff, influenza, all that nonsense. They brought it over. I mean, most of the Native Americans died not because they slaughtered them, but because they got sick. You know, you're introducing foreign pathogens from one continent to another. Things are going to get pretty bad. So that's where all that nonsense happened. And then you had those few Europeans that were pretty nice. It was just like,
Oh, there were like with the Christopher Columbus thing, a huge number of people were like appalled by what he was doing.
And Spain was you gotta think about it, Spain was a major world power back then. I mean, look at what they did to the Incas, the Mayans, and the Aztecs. And,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, no, they destroyed those areas, man.
Well, what do you think's going to happen when you get, like, muskets versus spears?
Yeah, man, it makes me wonder. I wonder if any of those guys ever got hit by those poison arrows.
Probably.
That's a painful death. Actually, that did happen. One of those explorers, he wound up in I forgot one of the islands he landed on, but the natives were not too happy with him, and they shot him with a poison arrow, and he died. I don't remember. It might have been Magellan. I think it was Magellan. Now, I don't know a whole lot about Magellan, but I know he was in those islands and stuff, and the Native Americans didn't take too kindly of him, and they killed him.
Wasn't Magellan the first one that went around the world?
He died on the voyage, though.
It might have. It might have been. I'm not 100% sure.
I'm like so worried I've been saying a whole lot of like wrong information on this podcast. If I am, correct me. I'm very tired right now.
Magellan. Now I want to look him up. But you know what? But you know what's the scary thing about most of these trips that these countries made? Not only were they funded by royalty, but you also got to remember who was controlling the royalty back then.
The church.
The church. Bazinga. That's kind of scary.
You just say bazinga.
Bazinga. Yeah. So it makes you wonder if the church in these European nations did not have a financial and power hold over these governments, would these governments have crossed these oceans for any kind of nuclear matters whatsoever?
Oh yeah,
Probably, yeah.
there's a political advantage. Get more land, get more resources.
But would the same things have happened if they didn't have the religion backing their ideologies?
Oh yeah, they would just have different ideologies.
Probably.
Mostly state worship.
Yeah, which is just as bad. I mean, well, what was that term I used last time? We were talking about Stalin and all those guys. Anthropodeism, I think. I was saying. Anthropodeism, yeah, is the belief that a human being is a god.
Like Stalin, yeah.
Stalin, Mao Zedong, because like again, just want to go off on a tangent a little bit. Well, actually, it kind of does have something to do with religion and stuff. These guys, they were atheists, yes. You know, Mao Zedong, Pol Pot, Stalin. But you know what else they had in common? They were a certain branch of communism. There was a certain branch of communism that they partook in, where they believed that the state and the person themselves, the head of the state, was the deity. It was like some sort of quasi-religion. And I think that's how Richard Dawkins even explained it. He was like, yeah, you know, these guys are horrible men. They may have been atheists, yes, but that wasn't their motivation. Their motivation was this quasi-religious, political nonsense that they wanted to back up in order to make themselves look better.
There's actually, I love the quip where it's just like, atheism had as much to do, it's like, they didn't do these people didn't do what they did because they were atheists any more than they did it because they both had mustaches.
Yeah. They
were also vegetarians. Does that mean that they, like, I think of Stalin and Hitler?
Vegetarians have killed more people than anyone else. Imagine that sounds silly, right? But then now throw atheism in there. It's just as ridiculous because there's not supposed to be any dogma with atheism. It's just an answer to a question. Do you believe in God? No, atheist. That's it. Everything else is independent.
I think that people just have a tendency to, deify things. Like, we kind of deify the founding fathers
because it's easy. Think about it. It's a lot easier to say that this thing rules and this thing is awesome than actually looking at why something is the way it is.
But to be fair, though, the founding fathers were kind of awesome.
Yeah, they kind of were.
But that was because of their actual actions. Like, I'm not saying that they're magic and super awesome. Jefferson still had slaves. And had sex with them a lot. That's not important at the moment.
That's another podcast.
Sex and religion. That's a scary one.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, we did that one, I think.
Oh, we did? Oh, that would have been fun. It probably was when we did it.
Wait, it was...
But yeah, one big thing about religion and government that we didn't really step on is... I guess we can talk about it with this country and other countries. What is it like when there's actually a religious country? What happens?
Middle East.
What?
Look at the Middle East.
I'm gonna reference some countries today. Look at India and Pakistan. Now don't get me wrong. There are some politics involved in these. It's not just strictly God, but Kashmir, which is a little piece of land near the Himalayas, where K2 and Mount Everest is. Both India and Pakistan believe that it is a holy land. It is a great land, and we must have it for ourselves. Middle East. Look at Israel versus Jordan, Iraq, Iran, and almost every other country that surrounds it. Yeah, everybody hates Israel. Israel is this holy land that these guys just came in and took, and look, we must have it because this was the place where God did all this stuff and blah, blah, blah. If you look at Kosovo, Bosnia, a lot of those countries are Christian.
All these conflicts have to do with land that was decreed to be theirs by a religion.
Yes.
And it's just so stupid. There is nothing in Israel.
Well, it's actually quite
It's like I'm going with Israel for an example. There are better places than Israel.
Isn't it mostly just desert?
It is mostly just desert.
Not exactly. I was in Israel for about a few days and stuff. There's a lot of desert there, but there's also a lot of beautiful mountains, and there's some really pretty fields there.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay.
But I mean, there's
even
better
s-
land.
But even so,
go south, go north, go any direction, you'll find better land.
even Iraq actually looks like that. And I've had friends who went there. It was like, yeah, there's actually some beautiful spots in Iraq. It's not just all messed up cities with burnt tanks and stuff. There's actually pretty land and nice water and stuff over there. It's just that these people, they're so mesmerized by it that they believe that it is sent from heaven and they must have it. We must have this aesthetic thing.
Oh, and here's the scary part. Do you know of the Apocrypha?
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's the end of the Bible that's not really official to a lot of different religious sects, but the idea is the apocalypse.
So Revelation?
Yeah, parts of Revelation, parts of the Apocrypha, the other parts of the Bible that aren't actually in the Bible, but a lot of different people.
There are parts of the Bible that aren't in the Bible.
There's a lot of things.
Well, they admit a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's everything that is not currently in the Bible that we popularly like is called the Apocrypha, I believe. It's fine if I'm wrong on this. I think Catholics still believe in the Apocrypha, but like Protestants completely reject all of it.
Isn't it true that the Vatican apparently says that it has Bible books, that it has like unreleased books in the Bible or something that it keeps locked up?
During the meeting at Nicaea, like 800 years ago or something, a bunch of people got together and basically was like, yeah, we don't want this in here anymore, we don't want this in here anymore, we're getting rid of this, we're going to add this, we're getting rid of this. They just edited the entire Bible.
And they're not going to release the edited parts, okay.
Well, I mean, it probably doesn't exist. They probably are lying. But if they're not, then I don't care.
Government and religion.
But yeah, and people just like ignore that. Or they don't, if they just apologize for it. They're just like, oh, they were biblical scholars, they knew what they were doing. But they completely edited the written word of God. Because it clearly wasn't good enough to begin with.
Which makes you wonder, if something is perfect, why does that have to be modified?
Before that, I was going to the Apocrypha. The reason I brought this up is there are a lot of countries who actively want the apocalypse to start. And one of them is like, the Jews have to get Israel. Is that the idea? The Jews have to get their sacred land, and that's part of the oncoming of the apocalypse.
That's one side of the story, yeah.
Oh boy.
And the U.S. is involved in this.
Of course. Because we're Rome.
Hmm?
Because we're Rome. We're supposed to be involved in everything.
Like there's been a number of battles that like the higher ups in the army, especially like George Bush, directly says we are doing this because it is God's will.
Oh boy.
All right, let me just say this straight out. If an elected official goes into a room by himself and says the people that were talking to him in his head have made the decisions of who to go to war with, this is someone that should not be president. This is someone who should not have decisions over anyone else, and honestly isn't entirely qualified to make decisions for themselves.
This is some Randy Orton stuff.
There's the idea that like if you pray to God, okay, there's a meditative quality of voicing your needs and whatever to a higher figure in your mind. But if God starts talking back, then you have something very wrong with you.
I still don't know what he sounds like.
No, and like this is where the easiest way that you can find a complete religious hypocrite is just tell them, what about I think it's a woman in Nebraska. I don't want to like be rude to Nebraska, so I won't say what state it's in because I don't actually remember. But the woman that woke up one morning and drowned her 2 children and said, God told me to. If you think that is a bad thing, then you are a hypocrite. Not you, the religious people. If you think that is wrong, then you are a hypocrite.
Damn. Wow.
And if you think it's wrong, you're also a better person than your God.
So it's a nice trade-off. You're a hypocrite, but in a good way.
So yeah.
Oh, are you eating now?
Oh, I'll eat that.
Okay.
Get over here.
I get rid of this stuff.
What is that?
It's like it's a fresh coleslaw.
Octopus tentacles.
What? It's veggies. I eat it with my hands.
Ketchup.
Delicious.
What am I supposed to do? Open
Sorry,
the packet?
guys. David is actually eating food.
Am I supposed to open the packet and suck it out or something?
Yes.
Okay. Nah.
Ketchup has high fructose corn syrup in it.
Probably coal tar too.
Damn, you're right.
Does that have red number 40 in it?
Doesn't say.
I'm sorry, we're going on a bit of a tangent here. Coal tar is like a major thing with us. Make fun of it all the time.
Every food coloring you can think of, unless it directly says this was made from beets or something, is made from crude oil.
Crude oil?
Yes, petroleum.
Petroleum.
The same stuff that goes to your car, and there's a certain form of it that goes into your food.
It's a class 3 carcinogen. It will cause cancer.
Then why do people say that there's no research or statistical proof that, non-organic food
Because
causes
most
cancer?
people don't know how to do research.
Okay.
Anything is food coloring and you shouldn't eat it.
But even books say that. They say, there's no actual evidence.
Don't believe everything you read.
Cancer.
Then again, we could be wrong about coal tar. So
The idea is to look into independent researchers that are well funded because they need the resources to actually do it. But if you don't go to groups that are funded by oil companies. If you look at all the ingredients of Sprite, every single ingredient causes cancer.
Well, Sprite.
we love a lot of things, but a lot of things are bad for us. Even the fruit you eat is going to kill you.
Really?
Just like aspartame, or however you pronounce it, the artificial sugar.
Yeah.
It elicits the same happiness that heroin does.
That's pretty messed up.
The goo or whatever in Oreos
Yeah.
The goo.
tells your brain you are less hungry than you actually are.
So it
Isn't
suppresses
hunger a
hunger?
good thing though?
No, it makes you think that you're hungry.
Oh, it makes you think you're hungry. So
Oh.
Sorry, I added double negatives in there somewhere. It makes you think you're hungry.
Oh. That
think
explains
I
why I
know.
get the munchies after I eat Oreos.
Now,
And you see, when cigarette companies there's one more after this one. When cigarette companies put more nicotine into cigarettes,
Yeah.
everyone was like, whoa, why are you doing that? You're going to make them more addictive. But when Coca-Cola puts so much sugar into their drinks that our bodies would vomit if we drank it, and then they add an additional chemical into it that suppresses our ability to taste sugar, this is when I start calling conspiracy.
Wait, they put so much sugar in Coke that we would vomit without that chemical?
Our bodies would be able to handle it.
Wow.
so it's a suppressor.
Yeah, I forget what it's called, but it basically makes it so our body doesn't realize how much sugar is in it.
That's scary.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it also has high fructose corn syrup and coal tar in it.
Coal tar.
Yes. Coal tar.
And why do they allow people to put this stuff in our food?
Because technically it doesn't kill you right away.
As long as it doesn't have an immediate effect on you, they don't consider it a drug.
Ugh.
Like, there's actually a thin line between what they consider to be a food and what they consider to be a drug. Oh, I also forgot to mention my favorite. Castoreum is in a lot of your dairy products.
What?
Castoreum.
Castoreum is beaver anal gland fluid.
What?
I'm not lying about this.
Mm-hmm.
I'm drinking beaver anal gland fluid?
Yes.
Ew. Even the organic stuff?
No. Well,
Possible. We don't know. We don't know. But,
basically if you can't identify it by looking at it, you shouldn't eat it.
which means everything.
Oh, like if you get a cheap blueberry muffin,
Yeah.
it doesn't have blueberries in it.
It doesn't?
Those little gummy things you eat
Yeah.
are made from a chemical reaction between like a benzene salt and an acid.
Ew.
Mm-hmm.
And benzene by itself is a carcinogen.
Ugh.
Chemistry.
Everything you know is a lie.
Yeah. Wow. That's true. It's a conspiracy.
Oh, by the way,
Welcome to the skeptical group.
also, I'm not an atheist. I believe in the Fugla.
Huh?
Fuck. What?
I'm also a Christian. Everything you thought is a lie.
Or is this a lie? Inception.
Or is this a lie? Or was that a lie? Or am I lying right now?
But you know what's the sad part is?
What?
That if you notice that a lot of topics throughout the years, they tend to flip-flop just like that. And I'm not even talking about the realm of science, because the realm of science is different. You know, what we do is...
We're supposed to flip-flop in science.
Yeah, you're supposed to flip-flop in science. And it's because you find different things. But when it comes to, like, these conspiracy theories, like, for example, what's the big one that people keep pushing? The FEMA camps. Oh man, people push that FEMA camp thing, but then they say there's no FEMA camp.
What was that?
I forgot. FEMA is a government organization that deals with a lot of emergencies and stuff. But one thing people keep talking about, they keep talking about these big old boxes. It's like these big, I guess they're plastic boxes. People call them coffins, and they say that one day FEMA is going to go around, they're going to put us under martial law, kill everybody that they don't deem worthy of whatever crazy thing that they have going on, and dump us all in these plastic boxes.
That's different.
Oh, this has been going on and off. Like, my ex-girlfriend even believed in it. She was like, yeah, Dante, the FEMA camps, they're going to kill us all. What are we going to do? And I'm like, what is your evidence that those boxes are even coffins in the first place? Oh, this guy on YouTube said so. I was like, guess what? This guy on YouTube says that bunny rabbits are the greatest thing since sliced bread. Should I believe him?
Bunnies are awesome. No, this is why these are, like, everyone on the internet, and especially you, don't believe anything that I just said. Go look it up for yourself.
Okay.
Research. I may be wrong.
I could definitely be wrong. I probably lied like 6 times during this podcast.
Unintentionally. I don't call it unintentional lies a lie, though. I call it just...
It's accidental ignorance.
Yeah. There.
The best kind of ignorance.
That's better. Because, like, at least you're leaving it open to scrutiny. A lie is just flat out like, this is what's going on, even though I know different. It's intentional.
Like, actually, one of the worst things right now, and I apologize, Dante, but it's the meat industry.
I know. That's why I've been lowering my meat intake lately, except for the burger I just ate not too long ago.
Everything about the meat industry is horrible.
Even organic meat?
Treatment of animals.
It's better.
Chemistry.
It's better, but not fantastic. It's another one of those things. Unless you know the farm in which your meat came from, you probably shouldn't eat it.
Okay.
You can look at it from a chemistry point of view, environmental point of view.
No, like the thing I brought up earlier that was cows are force-fed corn because it's easier for them to get. But to eat it, they have to be fed a lot of like immunosuppressants because their bodies aren't really built to eat corn.
But they have to be injected with antibiotics and...
Oh yeah, they also have to be injected with huge amounts of antibiotics as they're forced in incredibly close proximity, covered in their own shit.
They even made a video game about this, believe it or not. Did you see that? I'm not sure if you guys go on YouTube regularly, but they have a game called Scarecrow. And it was made by, of all people, what was it? It was either Qdoba or that other, or Chipotle, one of those places. And it's like a little game you can get on your iPhone where you place a scarecrow, and this company called Crow Industries goes around, and it shows them like holding these animals in these really cramped pens and jabbing them with all kinds of chemicals and stuff, and like the whole world is just like dystopian and everything, and everybody's eating all this meat and everything, and the scarecrow has to go around and create, you know, he's a vegetarian, so he has to create all these nice farms and stuff, you know, create all this food and everything, and try to make his food products, you know, more viable and beat Crow Industries. But I know a little bit of a tangent from the religion thing, but yeah,
the idea is just skepticism. Is like
we've taken a really big tangent from the topic, though. I think.
Oh, it can easily come back though because
do research on the meat industry. You'll be very, very sad.
I watched Food Inc., so I have an idea of
well,
what happens.
If it means anything, a lot of Muslims don't like pigs, so they don't torture the pigs.
Yeah, but then there's halal and kosher meat. Do you know about halal and kosher meat?
What's halal?
It's the Muslim equivalent of kosher.
Ooh.
The idea is the animal has to be tortured first.
Wait, I thought they were against that.
No.
Wow.
They're stuck in extremely primitive ways in which they don't actually understand biology.
I guess a lot of halal places.
Basically, the idea is you have to hold them like partially upside down, slit their throats, and let them bleed out until they die.
That's horrible.
Yes, it is. Our meat industry, with all of its terrible problems, they at least knock the animal out first. Then they cut its throat and let it bleed out. You're not allowed to do that with halal meat. So even on the rare occasions where I eat meat anymore, if it's halal or kosher, I resist spitting at the person in the face.
And there's a ton of halal. Have you noticed? Well, we've
The
been
halal
here.
trucks.
Yeah, they're everywhere. Like even a year ago, there wasn't that many halal trucks. But now, but I've noticed there's one company that owns them because they all have the same text and everything that flashes
The
sign.
neon light. Yeah.
Yeah, if you go down USP, they have
It
one down
smells
there.
delicious.
It does smell good, but I don't really eat halal stuff, so it's not really.
And that's just one of those things. It's like they are mandated to stick with their tradition and not deviate from it, even if it's torturing themselves or animals.
Now, was that religious? Is the halal thing religiously motivated?
Yeah, it's a religious mandate. It's one of the cleanliness hoopla or whatever.
Oh yeah, that's right. It is.
But even so, it's just one of those things. It's ridiculous. We learned that that's actually not cool to the animal. It actually gets worse in other cultures. I think there's a Korean thing. It's a matter of fact, you do eat dog in Korea.
I was in Korea for 2 years. They actually have dog farms.
Which, honestly, I wouldn't want to eat it. I would feel weird and bad about it. But the only reason we like dogs is a cultural thing. So whatever.
Don't they eat like golden retrievers or something?
I forgot what breed of dogs they had over there. I just know that they smell pretty bad.
Yeah.
No, but here's the kicker. They believe fear tastes delicious.
Huh?
So they actually drop the dogs in boiling water.
What?
Yeah.
Alive?
Yes.
That's a bit much.
We used to do that during the Dark Ages, especially when Henry VIII was in rule. He used to boil people alive in a giant cauldron.
Really?
Yep.
And eat them?
No, as far as I know.
He was fat. And we know is all fat people are cannibals.
Prejudice. and like just another little aside as far as animals in I think it's in Thailand. In one of those Asian countries, Cobra Heart.
Again, I'm saying not all Korean people eat dogs, and not all Korean people in Korea eat dog. And I'm pretty sure that's only one specific kind of recipe.
They call it K-gogi, by the way.
Anyway, continue.
But in some Asian countries, they'll bring you a live cobra. And what they will do is, they will, while the cobra is still alive, cut out its heart, and you will eat the still beating heart.
Of a cobra?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
That's
It's
actually
considered a
pretty...
delicacy over there.
It's like, that is incredibly badass.
Yeah, that is badass.
But even so, not cool, man.
Not at all.
I don't know. It's a snake, though. Snakes are...
Well, I mean, also, like, the treatment of, like, chickens is probably the worst.
It's bad if the chickens are aggressive towards one another.
It's like, the chickens are forced in incredibly close proximity with each other, even if they're called free range and cage free. All that means is they're kept in a giant barn.
Oh.
And they peck each other to death all the time. So when they're like, I don't know, like a few like months old or something, they put them into a machine, have the machine clip off 40% of their beak.
Oh, they have chick grinders too.
Oh, and some of them cut off like 20% of their toes.
Ugh.
And also they're genetically engineered, so their breasts grow incredibly fast, so they fall over on themselves.
That I did know.
It's like,
and they have chick grinders.
yeah.
Isn't that how they make the chicken nuggets at McDonald's? They like grind chicken.
Oh, that's so much worse.
That's
okay.
awful.
So they get in basically an entire chicken. They
Yeah.
grind it up into a pink paste, and because the paste is like super surface area, it gets infected really fast. So they put it in bleach or ammonia. I think it's ammonia. And since it no longer tastes like chicken, they artificially flavor it like chicken.
What?
Yes, the goo is true.
I don't know why that's so funny, but
because it's stupid. It's freaking dumb.
It's like I would honestly consider wandering into the forest to forage for food rather than go to a McDonald's.
Oh, I've stopped going to McDonald's altogether.
There isn't food in there.
what is it then?
The Frosties don't have dairy in them.
What?
Yeah.
What is it then?
I don't remember.
Probably more Castoria. Remember, I did say that dairy products have beef or anal gland food in it. So there you go. Castoria.
Ugh.
Although this isn't religious based, the whole
this is industry based.
Yeah, the halal thing and the kosher thing, that's definitely a standard. And you know what, I'll be honest with you, just to give some credence, when it came to the shellfish thing, it was kind of reasonable back then. Because, today we kind of have these methods for detecting pathogens and dealing with toxins and everything, but back then you didn't. So if you kind of wander around the beach and you just grab some random mussel on the ground, you did have a high chance of getting sick. And not only that, near the Middle East, they had a lot of red algal blooms. The algae would the algae would bloom like crazy. Like, it's so big you can see it from outer space. And when the algae blooms like that, they tend to carry a lot of toxins with them. And what eats algae? A lot of shellfish. A lot of shellfish eat the algae. And so these toxins carry on into the trophic levels. I know I'm being a bit of a biologist here. And of course, when you pick up that mussel, you're basically eating the toxins that it ate. So it was understandable back then, but the stupidity of it is making it a sin. It's like, don't eat that deadly shellfish, otherwise you're going to go to hell. So I was like, wait, I'm going to get killed by the lobster I just ate, and then get punished for all eternity for eating the lobster that killed me. Yes.
What time is it? Actually, I have to leave a bit early.
It's 7:14.
We have like 4 minutes left in the show.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm going to go. So.
Alright. See you later. I hope this has been as enlightening for you as it has been depressing for me.
Yes.
Look up evilbible.com.
Evil Bible, okay.
Yes.
It has lots of stuff. Anyway, so in the last 4 minutes, let's talk about nothing but religion.
Well, what aspect of religion besides the evil that kills you and sends you to hell?
What is the parallel between the religious structure and the actual government structure?
Well, they're both pyramids if you think about it. You have
there's a direct pyramid if you actually think about it. I saw this picture a while ago. It's like the hierarchy is God, man, wife, then child.
Ew. That's not even a pyramid. That's just like a straight up and down arrow of death.
Super misogyny.
But with churches, like churches for example, you have all the people who attend church. Then you have like some of the special helpers of the pastor, reverend, or whatever you name him. Then you have the reverend, and then you have some people have districts. Like even if you're a reverend, you're not the top guy. There's someone above you there too. But most people down here at the bottom who all attend church, they're never going to be that reverend or that guy that's above.
There's never a chance to move up in rank.
Yeah,
that's not how the structure works.
Yeah. And same thing with a lot of corporations, and you got to think about, for example, let's take my job.
Specifically the government.
Yeah.
There's a prescription in the government that you're like, you start as a happy-go-lucky gopher for a bunch of politicians, and eventually you move up to be president. But we don't have that anymore.
No.
The only way to become president is if you're filthy rich and buy your way in by knowing the right people.
Pretty much. Exactly.
I don't know how did Obama become president? How do we know who he was?
He was a senator. I forget which state. He was a senator. Secondly, he already had a lot of money. Thirdly, the banks. The banks have their hand in the cookie jar with everything. And so his campaign, as well as Mitt Romney's, and I forgot who was the other guy he was running against when he first came in. I forgot who. But all those guys were funded by these banks. That's why these third-party guys are usually not up there, because they're not funded by these giant by Goldman Sachs or all these other big bank corporations and stuff. So again, yes, that huge amount of capital, plus you sound convincing as heck, because I hate to say it, whether he's a teleprompter or not, Obama speaks well. And people are attracted to that. That's how he became president. But as far as the government itself, you're still going to have a whole bunch of peons at the bottom. There's still going to be the guys that's doing all the little menial tasks.
Even if you don't want to do the actual government itself, but it's the same. It's the electorate.
Yeah.
Like all of us are just willing saps of, especially I hate to be bipartisan about it, but the Republican Party at this point.
Uh-huh.
It is dominated by a bunch of religious crazy people.
It is.
Who worship whoever it is that is leading at the moment. And completely flying in the face of any evidence to do so.
Oh, they spit on evidence. They flat out deny it. especially when it comes to how they treat women and kids and everything too. That whole they're more anti-abortion. All that craziness.
It's not even anti-abortion. It's just outright abortion doesn't exist.
Yeah.
You're not even allowed to consider it. It's not an option because we have to think about all the new Christians have to exist.
Yeah, it's definitely a huge.
It's legislation trying to control things for the purpose of making the religious agenda continue. You can't let evolution by because it compromises the Adam and Eve story. You can't let abortion go through because it gives people the ability to control reproduction. And we're out of time. Sorry for the severe amount of tangents, but I hope you all enjoyed yourselves. I can't believe we're still talking because we're only allowed to be 45 minutes. Thank you for joining us. Have a nice time. We'll be back in several weeks because it's finals. Bye!